I gotta tell you about this new app that promotes black group economics. Did you know of the 1.8 trillion that is spent annually by black communities in North America? Only 2% of this wealth stays within our community. Our money stays in our community for only 6 hours, compared to our Jewish, white, and Asian counterparts at 30 days. Black Network is here to change that. We really need to support this. See you in the Black Network.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello, EAU family. It is Wednesday, hump day, and I am here with a very, very special guest. None other than multi-award winning R&B recording artist, producer, director, songwriter, singer, actor, music educator, vocal coach. What else?
Performer, entertainer.
Multi-hyphenate.
Yes,
Carlos Morgan.
Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna give you some applause.
Hey, I like that. That's cool.
There we go.
Yes. And it's more than R&B. I do also jazz and soul and gospel, reggae.
That is true.
Hip hop.
Yes, that is true.
All genres that are considered black music, quote unquote, black music.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for joining me
Thank you for
to have this very important conversation.
Yes.
So, family, we're going to be talking about this wonderful TED Talk that Carlos has called Music and Humanity.
Music for Humanity.
My apologies. Yeah. And how music can be used to dismantle racism, which is something that we as Black people, there's no shortage of what we go through systemically in every way. Yes. Just ingrained in everything, going back 400 years to today, it is a constant battle. But you have come up with a very interesting way to address it, to, just have those conversations, really, right? Mm-hmm. So this wonderful TED Talk that I've had the pleasure of attending as well. Why don't you tell us about it? First, tell us about it and tell us what inspired you to do this.
Okay, well, excuse me. Well, how music can be used to dismantle racism, which I've now expanded the title to be called Music for Humanity. What inspired me to venture down this journey of looking at or examining how music can be used to dismantle racism is, for example, I'm, as you know, I'm a performer and I perform at many places, various places. And one of the things that I've noticed, and I'm sure many artists, many performers can all say this, is that when they're performing in front of an audience, there are people of different racial backgrounds that are at the show or watching the show, who are attending the show. And for that time, for that moment that everyone is gathered to watch whatever said performance they're seeing, it's like what I've noticed is everybody's having a good time. They're enjoying the music, they're singing the songs, they're interacting with one another, they're dancing together, they're singing together. And it was one day I was performing and it dawned on me that, hey, I'm in this venue and I'm seeing people of various racial backgrounds all singing, dancing together, enjoying each other and enjoying the music. And then when they leave after the show is over and they leave the venue, they leave the show, they're back in their bubbles. So, and what I mean, they're back in their bubbles, they're back in their interacting with their said racial group, if you will. But for that moment that they're in the room enjoying the music and they're singing and dancing together, it's like our racial or our race or who we are, our racial backgrounds, our racial makeup, whatever you want to call it. For that moment, it doesn't seem to matter. All that seems to matter is everybody's singing and dancing and enjoying each other and enjoying the music, and then everybody's having a good time together. None of that stuff is in terms of who we are. You know, I'm black, someone else is white, or they're Asian, or whatever the racial background is. None of that seems to matter in that moment. So what inspired me to write this and come up with this TED Talk is, again, seeing what I see when I perform and how people are engaging and how people are talking together. But then when the show is over or when the event is over, it's like, oh, I don't know that person over there. Or so that's what inspired me to write this whole project.
So basically, you're just saying, and it's kind of like sports as well, is that when everybody's in this venue and they're just enjoying basketball or football, nobody is thinking about, oh, here's a black person, here's a white person, I hate you. Everybody is there on one accord and enjoying the moment, the event, similar to a musical event. Everybody is just enjoying it, and then when it's over, they go back to whatever it is that they are, whatever their beliefs, ideologies are, basically, you're saying, right?
Correct. But I think the difference between sports and music, and I could be wrong in this, but because I'm speaking from my experiences and my perspectives, and is that, take, for example, hockey. Okay. They say hockey is a quote unquote white man's sport. And I have witnessed and have heard of where black hockey players and black spectators they're being racialized.
That is true.
But when I'm at a show, whether I'm performing or even a guest, and I'm not seeing where, a white person is telling a black person, or there's friction and there's tension between people of different races in a musical setting. I've not seen that. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure it has happened, but to my personal experience, I've not seen it. Again, I perform at many quote unquote Motown style shows, and the majority of the audience are, I'd say, anywhere between 90 to 95% white, right? And they're all singing the songs. They all love Motown and they're enjoying the music and interacting with everybody in the room and even the performers on stage. But again, when the show's over, it immediately goes back to the way it was before people entered that space. So I think that's where, so in sports, again, when we hear of hockey, oh, what are black people doing here? This is a white man's sport. And if you want to delve into in history about hockey was created by black men in the late 1800s in Eastern Canada and Nova Scotia. But that's a whole other topic for another time. So I think, sports is a little different than music in that regard.
Yeah, I would say some sports, because when I watch World Cup, well, actually, I take it back, because there are some soccer players that go through racism on the field. So you know what? Let's not compare sports to it. You're right. There is no comparison. I think all I was meaning by that is that you see all races of people in the stadiums, and they're all there to watch this sport. So I think that maybe just for a split second, it's not a thought, but it's neither. It's like apples and oranges, really. in the grand
Mhm.
scheme of things.
Yes.
But what else do you think? Well, actually, let me go a little further now. What is an example of some of the things you talk about in this TED Talk about? Give us an example of what you say, what your objective is, what do you address, and how you address it. Without, like, by the way, if anybody wants to book Carlos, you got to book him to get the full experience. So I'm
Yes.
only going to ask him to give a little bit, just a little bit for us. You have to book him if you want to see it.
Yes. Well, I open the talk by quoting and singing the lyrics of a song by Stevie Wonder called Sir
Please
Duke.
sing it. Sing it. Sing it.
Um, so the lyric goes, music is a world within itself with a language we all understand. So I sing the lyric and then I'll say, okay, music is a world within itself with a language you'll understand. Well, what is the language that we all understand, and what is music? What is that world that music is within itself? And that's how I open the discussion. That's how I open the talk. And then throughout the talk, I'll reference other songs that addresses um, humanity and humanity coming together through music. So I'll reference a song by Bob Marley called Trenchtown Rock, when he says, "One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain." Or I'll sing "Ebony and Ivory" by Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers. "A Change Is Gonna Come" by Sam Cooke. So I will talk about, and I'll talk about these different lyrics and what do they mean. What 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 was the climate of what was the climate when these songs were written by these iconic, legendary artists? What if any human or civil rights issues that were going on at the time? Like I'll discuss or I'll share things about the civil rights movement and songs that were talking about civil rights and human rights. Yes, it was focused on Black Americans, but the objective was about all of humanity looking past race, as Dr. King said, not to be judged by the color of our skin, but the content of our character. And that's one of the things that I bring in as well. So the objective of the talk is referencing song lyrics that addresses issues of racism, and then how these lyrics can be implemented if we're conscious of them, how they can be implemented into our daily lives. So when we are out living our daily lives and we see people of different racial backgrounds, that it's like Michael Jackson said in his song, "You can be my brother. It doesn't matter if you're black or white." So I can see a complete stranger, and I could look at that complete stranger and say, okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm a black man, you're a white man, or you're Asian, or wherever you're from. But in the grand scheme of things, we are all spiritual beings, have a human experience. We come into the world one way, and we leave the world the same. We come in the world one way, and we're all going to leave this world one day. And we are all human beings having this we're all spiritual beings having this human experience. So that's where the humanity part comes in, and music being that conduit. And then I talk about racism and how racism was formed, or the construct of racism. And so I bring these two different points, this and relay the juxtaposition, if you will, of how racism and music, they're opposite, but then how music can be used, to reference the title, to dismantle this system, this construct of racism, and that we can address each other as human beings. And then by the end of it, then I'll ask the audience to sing songs together, and not just to sing the lyrics. For example, I'll say, okay, let's all sing a song like "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers. Lean on me when you're not strong. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem, sister, that you'll understand. So all of that, and ask them, ask the audience to sing the lyrics, but also listen to the lyrics and internalize the lyrics, because that is the objective, is for us to internalize these lyrics and live these lyrics, because we all sing these songs and we love these songs. But one of the questions I do ask the audience is, when you're singing these songs and you're enjoying these songs, are you listening to the words? Are you what do you feel? And what do you, when you sing these lyrics or say these lyrics and you look at somebody else from a different racial background, what do you see and what do you feel? I take another song like by Stand By Me by Benny King. So darling, darling, stand by me. Um, Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand? Right? So that's the objective and the goal of this, the goal. And hopefully it's also to get people to critically think, consciously think, soulfully and spiritually think, and move beyond thinking and move into engaging. And again, song lyrics, music being that inspiration. So that's the crux of the talk.
And I love that, because there's so many people in the world that will just sing songs and say, "Oh, I love this song," or "I love the beat," or "I love the melody," and they're actually singing the lyrics, but it they're not taking it in.
Hmm.
They're not really taking it in, because they're more focused on just the sound and the beat and stuff, and it's like, "Oh, I just love this song."
Yeah.
And sometimes, really, are you listening to the lyrics? And then also too, a lot of the music of today doesn't really have that conscious element to it. It just
No.
doesn't anymore. So if you're somebody that's a Gen Xer, for example, or Gen Z, sorry, Gen Zer or whatever, what are they listening to today? Which is why I'm glad that you do this and in the schools, because
Mhm.
a lot of these students really don't have and aren't listening to the music of that day, of our time, our
Right.
generation, where
Right.
there was so much messaging in it. So that's why I think it's really important what you're doing. The other thing I wanted to ask, though, is just in general, racism in music. Good evening, Dr. Tachi. Good evening. Thanks so much for tuning in. Dr. Tachi is amazing, by the way.
Yes. Hello, Dr. Tachi.
Yes, Dr. Tachi. Yeah, so when like talking about just racism in general in the
Mhm.
music industry in Canada, just to touch on it, I know we're going to do a separate segment altogether, but just to
Mhm.
touch on it, because it is kind of linked to this whole thing about how music can be used,
Mhm.
right? To dismantle racism. So going through racism in Canada as a Black artist with all of your acclaims, all of your awards, and how does that play a role in your inspiration to do this?
Good question. Um, um, how the racism that I believe is in the Canadian music industry and how it plays a role. It plays a role in, and as you mentioned just a few moments ago, is about going into the schools and speaking to young people, because as we all know and hear and say daily, that the next generation, they're the future. And so the objective is especially for Black artists in Canada who want to enter into the music industry in Canada, um, to give them give not some, to give them as much knowledge, as much awareness, as much education about the music industry in Canada and the challenges that they will face. Um, on a broader scale, in my opinion, again, there isn't anymore that I see a music industry in Canada. But even more so, there has never really been a music industry that supports Black music in Canada. And I'm speaking from firsthand experience. Born and raised in Canada, and the many challenges and struggles that I faced. Yes, I've had some success. I've received many awards, including the Juno Award and the Much Music Video Award and Canada's Top Songwriting Award, and which is the SoCan Music Award. And I've also um, opened doors, if you will, that were never opened before I came or entered into the music industry. People that were here 40, 50 years before me did not accomplish things that I did. But yet, despite all that I've achieved and all that I've done, I and many countless Black musicians, singers, songwriters, producers in Canada have not received the respect, the recognition, the acknowledgement. And this is going back to the late 1800s, early 1900s in the Canadian music industry in terms of being a Black artist or Black musician. So connecting my talk with anti-Black racism in the Canadian music industry, again, is to educate this next generation of artists who may want to pursue a career in music and do it in Canada, to say, you know, these are the challenges you will likely face. And if you want to have a successful career, the objective I would suggest would be to go to America or go over to Europe. Because in Canada, there are various issues that are going to hinder your growth, your success, and just being aware of the inevitable racism, discrimination, and bigotry that you may face. And if you want to make any kind of change, be cognizant of, don't just write songs for, of course you want to write hit songs, but write songs that will cause people to think, that will give them critical thinking. So it's, again, if you want to write songs about humanity and dismantling racism, or, peace, finding peace amongst each other, and loving each other and learning about each other, and all these sort of things that will break down, dismantle, destroy, whatever it is, to remove the stigma of racism. Be that kind of songwriter that will write those kind of messages in your music, and talk, and not just focus it on a global scale, of course, but being in Canada and being aware of the industry in Canada, try to, if any way, to interject that message in their music. So that's where the connector is for the talk and addressing anti-Black racism in Canada. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, you did. I'm just gonna play angel's advocate because I don't like using that other word.
I like that. I like that.
Wouldn't you say, though, that a lot of, I would say, the younger up and coming musicians and stuff would have a little trepidation about that kind of messaging in their music, because they would probably feel as though it's not going to go anywhere, because if they're trying to speak from a conscious type of messaging, like people like Bob Marley did and Nina Simone did, and that in this climate and today, people in general are afraid to even speak up about anything that they're going through. So imagine trying to write that into song.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you feel that maybe they would be concerned or afraid that they would not have success? And what would you say, because I'm just pretending I'm a student that's a musician, and what would you say to a musician who had sort of a question or a concern like that?
Well, what I've come to learn is success is relative, right? Um, there are many, many successful musicians and songwriters and artists that are not, you know, famous, but they do well. Um, they have a following, but you may not see their music videos or hear their songs on the radio, but they do extremely well. So, success is relative. What I will say though to a young artist is, of course, they want to follow the trends. They want to be a pop star. They want to, and that's all fine, right? But that will only last maybe for 5 to 10 years, right? But when you start to mature and get older, and you're living more life, and you're seeing what's going on in the world, and hopefully, you know, the artist or artists will be attuned, they'll be awake. I don't like to say woke, but they'll be awakened. They'll be educated, and you know, have your fun songs, of course, and that's fine. But have songs that will speak to the conscious, the soul, and the the consciousness of man. Reaching down into the spirit, to the soul, and because music is spiritual, right? And to say that, along with that, there are a lot of songs we hear all the time that have very negative messages as well, right? And I want to encourage young people to write, if they are songwriters or entering into the music industry, even maybe not being out in the front, but just being a songwriter, to write songs that will, again, speak to the heart and soul of man, and that they will be engaged in positive ways, right? To counter the negativity, because we see there's so much of it right now. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse. So we need young people to be aware, to be like, if I want to be a songwriter, I'm going to sing songs or be a musician, be one that will elevate and lift higher instead of bringing it down and into these negative spaces and places and energy.
Yeah, because I mean, when you look, even the lyrics of hip hop and all of that, it's just uh, it really is just alarming. The kind
Mm,
the cussing that's in there, the N word, this and that, and you see all of these young people, teenagers and young adults walking around pumping it in their vehicles and what have you, and there's nothing behind that. There's no
right,
substance to it. All it does is it forms the way that they think and the way that they live their life and what have you. So I do think it's really important, because when we're no longer above ground, they're the ones that are going to be forging on. And it would be great if we had people that used their talent for good. And
right,
it starts with the young people,
right,
because because if all young people are only paying attention to, I don't know, Nicki Minaj and other male, I can't even think of, because I just don't even consume that music. But if that's all that they're consuming, there's no hope for
yeah,
for
yeah.
for the future. That's why I love this TED Talk that you do. I mean, I've had the pleasure of sitting through one, and I see how it's received by the
Hmm.
students. So
Hmm.
I really hope that more people and more schools and libraries and community centers and everybody wants to get involved in this. So what I would ask you, as I put it up again, is how can people find you if they wanted to book you for this TED Talk?
Well, if they're interested in booking me, they can reach out to me at my email, which is carlosmorganmusic@hotmail, which is at the bottom there, carlosmorganmusic@hotmail.com. Yeah, right now that's the best way to reach me and contact me. I'm going to be having a landing page created for this talk. And so once that's up and running, I will be promoting that. If people want to book me, they can reach out to me or contact me on the email that will be a part of the landing page for this Music for Humanity. And I'm also going to write a book as well. I'm going to be starting it at the top of the year.
Awesome.
I'm hoping that it'll take me a year to write. There's a lot of research I'll be doing for it. I've started some because I'm coming up with new thoughts and ideas and things that I want to include in the book. You know, even songs that I've written. A song that I've written that you are very well aware of, or you know very well, is my song "Have No Faith." And a song like that, again, is we all have, I believe, that that we all, in whatever way or whatever we call faith, quote unquote. I know what mine is. I know what yours is. And who we believe in and who we call upon for faith. But I'm also aware and understand and respect that people have their various beliefs, and whatever they believe in, they call faith to help them through those times in life where they have struggles, challenges, trials, tribulations. And again, that is another way that brings us together, is that we all journey through this thing we call life, and we have our ups and downs. And we turn to whatever it is. And unfortunately, there's a lot of negative things that people turn to get them through. But the objective is, with my song Faith, is to recognize that faith and find that love within ourselves. And that's something that many of us struggle with, is self-love and finding our self-worth and our self-value, and knowing that we are created by Yahuwah, and that we turn to him. And some people have other different beliefs, and I respect that they have their beliefs. But again, that is something that makes us all the same. So it goes beyond race, is faith and love and getting us through those hard times. So again, that will be a part of the book that I'm going to be writing, called Music for Humanity, How Music Can Be Used to Dismantle Racism. And again, people can reach out to me on my email at carlosmorganmusic@hotmail.com.
And also, I would imagine, because, we're in Canada and people from the United States may be interested. So you do offer it online as well, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
So
Yes.
So again, if anybody wants to book Carlos for this, I like I said, I have sat through one, and I'm telling you, it really is amazing. It's intuitive, it's insightful, and I encourage everybody, if you know somebody in the education system anywhere, reach out to Carlos. You can get it online. It can be a virtual session. It is well worth it. carlosmorganmusic@hotmail.com. I thank everybody for joining. And I can't have a Juno Award-winning singer on my live stream without asking him to sing us out. So if you would just indulge us and sing a couple of lines of a thoughtful, insightful song that resonates with exactly what it is you do in this TED Talk. That would be wonderful.
Okay, so I'll sing the song I was just talking about, my original song called Have a Little Faith. I'll just sing the chorus. It goes like this. It takes little faith to get back up, and it takes a little heart to let you love yourself inside. Yeah. It takes a little time to just let go. So open up your eyes, and then you'll know that it will be alright. It's gonna be alright if you have a little faith. Ooh, yeah. Just have a little faith. Ooh, yeah. Have a little faith.
Okay, I'm going back to the applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, everybody, you see this up here, how music can be used to dismantle racism, but Music for Humanity is the main title. And oh, thank you. See, Dr. Tachi said, fantastic.
Thank you, Dr. Tachi. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Tachi, I'm telling you, Dr. Tachi's out in Florida, right?
Wow.
So Dr. Tachi, if you know anybody, absolutely spread the word. This is a wonderful, wonderful TED Talk. I tell you, it is really, really great. So again, Carlos Morgan Music at hotmail.com. Yes, thank you, Dr. Tachi. Yes, spread the word.
And if you don't mind me interjecting really quickly, as much as I wouldn't mind doing it online, but I enjoy doing it in person, because what I also do is I bring my guitar and I play my guitar, and as I said before, it's engaging the whole audience. So again, we'll sing songs, and I'll say, let's sing a song together. So I'll say, we'll sing "Lean on Me." Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, and get people to sing along and clap and really engage one another. And I'll even say, look at someone in the audience that is of a different race than yours. And when you sing these lyrics, just call on me, brother, or call on me, sister, when you need a hand, because we all need somebody to lean on. To me, being in the room where there are people of different races singing that song together, and when it comes to that lyric and they could sing that song to each other, that I'm hoping will reach their subconscious, reach their soul. And when they leave that room and they go out into the world, they can take that message. And they're not going to walk down the street singing "Lean on Me," but it will be in their psyche, in their mind, in their spirit, in their soul. So when they see someone of a different race, they see us as quote unquote Black people, they won't feel afraid of us. They won't be like, oh, they'll be like, hey brother, what's up? Or hey sister, just something as simple as that, and they go on with their day, they go on their way. But it's just for that moment, so for me, being in a room is what I find is more effective. So I just wanted to share that.
Oh, I mean, there's nothing better than that human engagement for sure, like that tangible engagement for sure. So, I'm going to throw the other thing out. If you want to fly Carlos out,
there it is.
You can fly him out too.
That's right. That's right.
But, if for whatever reason that's just not an option, I just wanted to put out there that, we're also flexible,
yes.
that, if need be, it can be also done that way. But ideally, of course, because again, I've sat through it, it's the best experience when you've got that, you got the energy from an audience that you're actually in the room with, for sure. Yeah. It's a beautiful experience. Just in general, everybody should run and reach out to Carlos and book him. Honestly. And you know what? what I'm going to do is the next one I go to, I'm going to make sure I grab some footage so I can share with you all. Not all of it, because you got to book him if you want the entire experience, but I will give you a little taste of what you can expect.
Yes.
So what the next one is coming up on December 10th.
Yes, I'll be doing it for a conference called Rise Up, the Rise Up Youth Conference, and I'll be doing 2 sessions there, one in the morning and one in the afternoon for high school students in Niagara region in Ontario. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm quite nervous, but I'm very grateful for that, because when I did the talk in this past February, and some administrators from the school board came out, and they enjoyed the talk, and one of them gave it a title. I think this was edutainment or something.
That's right.
Like edutainment. So I thought I like that title, edutainment. So I'm really looking forward to that, and engaging with the youth and talking with the young people. And again, because as I said before, our young people are they're the future, and if they can take my message, and again, they internalize it, they make it a part of their, and they make it a part of how they live their life, even as young people. That hopefully that could be a shift in what we're seeing and in what's going on in the world today. Yeah.
I mean, indeed, like small miracle, right? That
Mhm.
that's all we can ask for,
Yeah.
because it would be really great, because music is one thing that, I mean, who doesn't like music? So
Exactly.
if you can just translate that love for music to love for one another, if you're able to just group the whole thing, it would be the best case scenario.
Uh,
So, and also music is a great way to reach youth. So
Absolutely.
it's the best formula, in my opinion.
And
So
and the other thing, I'm sorry to interrupt you. And the other thing I also want to say is that one of the things I say in my talk is, we live, we see where people, they will love the music, they will love the culture, but they don't love the people who love the culture. So one of the questions I pose to them is, how do you say you love the music? You love R&B, you love hip hop, you love reggae, you love jazz, you love all these different genres of Black music, but then you don't like the people, or you don't take time to know the people, or understand the people that created the music. You listen to these, or they hear these stereotypes, or these stigmas, or whatever these narratives about Black people, or these narratives about these different races of people, but they don't. But they love the music. I love the music. I love the food. I love the culture. But then when you see that same person that you love their music or you love their culture, you have a negative mindset about them. So there's the contradiction and the hypocrisy. And I, I and I want to show that mirror to them, to say, hey, if you really love the music or you love the culture, but then you don't love the people who the music and the culture is created from, then how do we move past that for you to really be like, I love the people. I want to understand the people. Can you hear me?
yes,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So how can we move past just the culture, loving the music and the culture, but not taking time to understand or love the people that created the music and culture that they so love? And I see it all the time, and that's one thing that I find very disturbing. I love R&B, I love hip hop, but then if something is going on with us, there's when we're being brutalized or dehumanized, there's silence. So you only love us for one thing. You love us what we can bring and how we can make you feel, but then you don't see our humanity. So then how do you? So again, it's a matter of bringing these two things together.
It's like the shut up and dribble, right? Just
Correct.
entertain us, but you don't have, you just have to put up with everything else. Just
Right.
shook and jive and just,
Correct.
and you can't sing country music. How dare you, Beyonce?
Right. We
It's
created
like,
country music.
how do you dare come and win an award for singing country? That's
But
not yours.
we created
So
country music. Exactly. But we created
exactly. So that's the importance of what you do, because you're teaching them.
Right.
By the way, people, this isn't the only one he does. He does the history of Black music in Canada. He does one called Sound Perspectives, which is the history of hip hop and its impact on youth. So there's so much. So like I said, reach out to him, Carlos Morgan Music at hotmail.com.
Yes.
CarlosMorgan, exactly how it sounds.
Yes.
And at hotmail.com. And honestly, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed.
Thank you.
But I thank you all for tuning in. Dr. Tachi, it's great seeing you it's great seeing you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And you and I will be talking, Dr. Tachi. We have some more work to do. But yes. Please reach out to Carlos. And we will be back again to talk about more topics. As a Black musician in Canada, there's plenty to cover. And hopefully we'll have some more really, really talented Black musicians to join this conversation, because it's a very important one. But stay tuned for that. Just follow, subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next live stream. Until next time, we shall see you again. Until then, please be safe, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Salut.
Peace.
Peace.